Welcome everyone to our broadcast today. Let me get this other camera operational. It doesn't seem like it's working right. So, one moment. One moment. We'll get your camera working in a second. Maybe I see it here. Is it? Yeah. What happened with you, man? Okay. Alrighty. Welcome today to our broadcast. Always a little something going on with these cameras. As I said, I'm going to replace them soon enough. What we're going to do today, we're going to talk about deception, basically. Um, just the other day, we did a broadcast on scams. I think it's called Scams. Scams. Let me just take a look here. It was scams, fraud, and con artistry the other day. And we talked about the elements that make a scam and even the perceptions of scams, etc., etc. Today, as part of our Viral Political Mondays, we're going to dive into an actual case study. Now, there's something particularly strange I'm going to talk about. I'm going to let you guys in on today. And this is what it is. Simply, I do things to test and to learn from reactions. Um, I'm always writing material when I can. Obviously, I have my issues with after the accident, but I've always been someone, and people who know me from years. I mean, I'm talking about when I was a teenager. They always knew me to be a person of inquiry, and many often I would do things. Not that they knew this, they didn't know this, but I'm letting everyone know now that I did a lot of things to see how people react. Also, to a lot of the things were people's reactions, and that included their thinking process, which would later be revealed by certain things they said or did or told others, etc., etc. And but also things that people do, the actions that people take, given certain stimuli, right? So depending on what was the issue at hand, I would observe what persons would do, and that would be really the basis of a lot of my observations, my empirical um, resource, at least, and for my own personal abilities to help other people handle situations and things. So I became pretty much a natural counselor to that degree, based on the fact that I was able to understand people and outcomes, and also then symptoms or results. So I was able to go in reverse as well by an activity or a statement that someone was making. I could also then go back into that history to ponder and to pretty much get an idea of why is this person telling me this today, or why is this person saying this in whatever scenario. So I pretty much all throughout life have been engaged in the study of things and of people and of situations. So not everything, even still to this day, people like my wife, to be frank, um, get me the wrong way. They don't understand that I'm not doing this or saying this because I'm like everyone else, or I'm doing this because I'm feeling this or that way. Um, I'm actually doing this on with a purpose in mind, with a purpose in seeing what reactions there are, and seeing how what I said or what I did affects whoever it is that's involved in whatever I said or did. And these aren't things that are just too crazy and one. I'm not talking about doing crazy things or anything, but just those things, the possible variables that people complain about through life, wonder about, or set aside, or perturbed by. Just and so that I would always be learning from people from these different scenarios. So that's really basically what I've been doing all my life, and has pretty much dictated things that I do from a day-to-day perspective. So due to that, obviously, there are uh, engagements that I do on Facebook, for example, social media, that are particularly greatly influenced by this issue. Seeing again, trying to understand people. This goes into the religious aspects, the religious things that the apologetics, for example, understanding why people say what they say when they're confronted with valid information. Why do they deny what they see? And also then they reflect, so their own denying or denials onto, in this case, my person, saying I'm in denial. They would say that you're in denial, when in fact they're the ones that are denying their own denial, and they deflect. It's called deflection. And so I see this. It's very clear. A lot of people don't engage situations, information to this degree. And so what happens is that you're easily fooled because you don't make the right, you don't ask the right questions. You assume. That's a big mistake. So when people look at something and they make an assumption, that's where that leaves the area open for deception. Now, deception can be had from the intent itself of leaving something open. So there is room for the originator of a matter to deceive when they leave something open. But also, it can be used by the instigator, by someone else who wants to deceive by taking something from an original or from an originator, and then also using it off point, or making an off point observation or a statement that is off the point, and therefore deceiving people in relation to what really is happening. So with that in mind, understand that this is things that are behind the scenes to what the case study is. The other thing that you have to go into and understand before we go into this is to realize that, let's say on social media, for example, social media is a public arena. Therefore, and basically the internet. So anyone that's doing anything on the internet, it's public. So everything you do is public. What many people don't realize also is the internet is pretty much the internet. It's not really something that onboards reality in terms of real life. Real life is not really on the internet. The internet, especially when we're talking about Google, your favorite search engine, It's not a reflection of truth. Google is a reflection of what somebody wants you to see. So that's another issue. Do not, when you go into Google, you're not going to see truth necessarily. Don't assume truth in Google. Google is not the arbiter of what truth is. Google just uses an algorithm. Now, if someone knows how to use the algorithm, okay, again, you can figure things out by observation. You can see what works if you have enough years. And it's true that Google has made changes because when people start learning their algorithm, start learning to use what they see Google uses to page rank and things of that nature, then they start gaming the system. And once Google notices that it is to a sufficiently compromised degree, then they'll switch it up in some shape or fashion. But the bottom line is, sooner or later, and even sooner, the first thing that goes online, the easiest thing for Google to find online is what you want Google to know. Especially when you're talking about people, when you're talking about individuals, you're only going to see what the individual wants you to see. So it's stupid, well, without calling it things that you should say and realize for yourself. Just simply that Google, most of the things that Google finds in relation to people and even companies, most of that can be tweaked. It means that there's a lot that a person and a company can do to make things look a certain way in their favor. And if a company is not doing that, they're not really implementing their funds in the right manner. And individuals that are doing something, because of course private individuals aren't necessarily searchable online in any great degree. But if you are a person of worth, a person of interaction with community and with companies, organizations, you're a business person, etc., and so this is your field of work, it's your play area, if you will. You're going to be found on the internet like I am. I'm discoverable easily on the internet. But again, the things that you find are the things that I have put out. So the assumption that you're going to find something on me is, it's just you're going to find what I have put out about myself online, right? So that's basically what you're going to see. Now, but so given those are the parameters, and I have to express that just to make sure that everyone understands that before we go into this study of how people react to the experiment, to the testing, the trial that I put in, so that you guys can understand how things get twisted, by a bad actor, someone who wants to attack a political opponent. This has to do a lot with politics, because it deals with how people try to shape a person. It could be a political candidate, it could be an official of the government, the president of the United States, a person running for Senate, the House of Representatives, a person running for political office or in political office of any type, even news stories and stuff like that. How a person can, with malintent, can reframe something that's innocuous. That means something that is nothing, that it is bad, and recast it and reframe it as something bad and terrible. Okay, so they can do that with people, and they can do that with things or happenings, etc., etc. So it's important that we also have an understanding of what they're doing and what type of people actually do this, which is quite interesting. Now, any within this study, the persons who participate were unknowingly in this participation. They did not know I was conducting an experiment. They don't understand how I operate. So that everything is I'm learning from myself. I could care less about anything else, really. And even in my Facebook, it's not a place really for friends of mine. And I can tell you that most of my friends, that people would call their friends, are not on my Facebook at all. I don't use Facebook. I'm from another generation where Facebook wasn't part of it, of my life, and of my friends that I had were before Facebook. So Facebook isn't, I don't use Facebook in the way that most people use it. Number one. Number two, the other good thing that happened actually was that Facebook uh, locked me out. Not that they locked me out, I'll explain that in a second. They locked me out of my first real account because of some hacker that had copied my profile. And one of people acquaintances noticed that, and they complained to Facebook that that's not Rosado's profile. Somebody's asking me to befriend them. I'm already a friend. This and that, blah blah blah. And then what had happened that I had a series of moves that I did throughout the years, and my phone number was not updated in Facebook. That's actually what killed my ability to reclaim my original account. And since Facebook keeps itself aloof in the cloud without any address or any way to communicate with a living person out there to make sense of reality, I let that account go and I let Facebook have their way. So I just created another account, and instead of going through all the drudgery that I did on the first account, I just let it go as it was. So I didn't bother to reach out to old friends or anything like that. I just said any friend that wants to seek me out, let them friend me. And those that don't or are not aware, um, just let them live their lives. It's okay. It doesn't bother me. See, I'm not bothered by things like that. Again. So, and then, so my Facebook profile is just basically whoever wants to friend me. Not whoever, but I just let it fill up with people who just thought I was someone good to befriend. So that's that. So that's what my profile is right now. And as I used it before, I use it now. It really doesn't really make a difference. I use it to observe humanity, see what they're doing. I say a few things here and there and see the reaction and learn from that. So this case study is basically one of those things, and it's also what I use to bring these teachings and information out to my audience. Now, so as we go, now we'll focus now on the case in point. One of the groups that I go into is a local community rant and raving group. There was a post that was put up depicting a black woman, naked, apparently naked, and she's large, voluptuous. Everything's in the eye of the beholder, of course. And the whoever did this wasn't that person particularly, I don't think, as far as I know, but the person posted this figure into this group. It has two eyeballs. You'll see it in a moment. Um, it has two eyeballs, and let me just go there, and you can see it momentarily here. Just a quick second, and let me just adjust the screen here. Okay, so this is the picture, and like I said, um, this is one of those things that it depends on your point or your perspective of what is being depicted. The post, to me, I found offensive, not because of the nudity. I have no problems with nudity. Um, the problem was the insinuation that's given using the body of a person and their coloration, which unfortunately has a lot to do with a race of a person. It's unfortunate, but simply in this case, it has a lot to do with a race. The connotation is very, very clear. And then the inference with the two eyeballs, right, that they placed on top. What you didn't see was the inference. So I'll read it to you. It says, "We know who this is." That's the inference there. We know who this is. Now, if you've been in terms of reading political memes and comments people have been making, this is a reference obviously to Donald Trump and the POS, what's usually that he's regarded as by many anti-Trumpers. Okay. The problem, though, that I have, again, is not that it's an anti-Trump thing. I'm used to seeing other fecal depictions going against Trump, and that's a freedom of speech and whatnot. So I respect that. But this, I felt, crossed the line into racism. And I know, and this is where I wanted to test the waters on this racism issue, because if it's racism, it's considered racism to use the N word. It's considered racist to reference monkeys in relation to a black person. Okay. And there's been other statements and insinuations attributed to different people, and especially in this atmosphere against Trump, that Trump is racist and all of that. There's been comments and statements alluding to widespread racism amongst the supporters of Trump. This person, however, is not, admittedly, he admitted that, is not a Trump supporter. And then I found this to be quite shocking, of course, because how is it that you're using, many people make such a big stink about racism in relation to Trump, that in attacking Trump, you would actually use a picture of a black woman to inferring that she, I'm not going to call it an it's a she, looks like what? What are you inferring? Inferring here, the inference. Obviously, that does not sit well for me. If it's racism to call someone a monkey or to regard the African American as descendants of monkeys or apes and all that, it's very highly offensive. This is 1,000 times even more so. So I found that disturbing, enough to call my attention to it, because otherwise I wouldn't even engage any of these comments, especially on this group. The group is mainly ranting and raving about things in general, and especially about local matters. But this one was, sharing its anti-Trump sentiment. Now, this is the second post. The first post, which had the same meme, is where I voiced my off my voicing against this racist usage of this depiction. To me, this was a racist depiction, and I posted it. I told them, you guys, this is racist. How dare you put out a woman that is a beautiful human being, and infer from the coloration that this is related to any fecal material, manure, and all of that. That's really shameful, totally shameful. Okay, but we're not going to here to debate that issue. I think it's clear. And we went on a back and forth. Again, most people who know how I engage people back and forth know that my end of it was clean. Their end was unclean. Okay, it was very. They were very of what you call it, defensive, and they made gross statements and comments. Okay, and so what happened was that this person deleted that whole post. He deleted the post. And again, this is what we're doing here is not about a person here. We're dealing about the issue, not the person. So and ignore the names here, because I'm ignore these names. I don't know if they're real names anyways. I have to assume they're all false names because of something I'm going to show you later. So ignore that. We're not here to, so those names don't mean anything for us here, okay? We're just looking at statements back and forth, and that's what we're going to be examining. I have nothing against these people, individuals. I don't know them. They don't know me, etc., etc. So all of that is just silliness. So we're not here to do that. But what we're going to point out, though, is the actions taken. That's what we're looking at, actions and words. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So disregard any names. We're not here to defame anyone, although I'm being defamed. I'm the one that's being defamed, but I'm not here to defame anyone. These guys they're cool, they're regular folk. What we're talking about is this action that's being done, okay? And we're going to break that apart, because obviously for them, this is something that they need to do, is something they're able to do. And so how much of this, and the question that we're asking is, how much of this is being done by professionals out there in the political world? That's what we're dealing with in this program, okay? So that's to have that clear. All right, so let's go into the comments here so that we can get an understanding of what was happening. The first comment on the second new post, the first one's gone, it's off of Facebook, says, hey, did he delete all his posts? Now, this person is asking if I had deleted all my posts, right? Meaning comments, they're not posts. There's only one post. But the comments, because that whole post disappeared. He noticed it. Okay, so I came in, and then I said, no, he deleted the failed post. He was proven wrong and racist, because that was the back and forth we had very, very precisely. I did not let them get off of that, because immediately they wanted to go someplace else and not deal with the racist use of this black woman in this post, and he reuses it again. and then and then the person says wrong there. G Bird, he says with an O. I reposted a pic of he said I reposted a pile of again of doo doo as bait for the race baiter. And there you are, he says. He accuses me of being a race baiter. I don't participate in this group. You know, he's saying that because I caught this racist usage, which I guess he is now admitting to, which he put there to bait me. See, so he's admitting with that statement that this it was racist, in fact. Because how can you bait with something if you're not trying for it to be exactly what you wanted it to be to bait someone? But he's justifying posting that he admits was racist because he was trying to catch a fish. That's what they're saying, right? Because after the first denials that it wasn't racist, it wasn't this and that, blah blah blah. Now he comes back saying, "Oh, he was doing this to catch a racist. That's a race bait and stuff like that." See, anti-Trumper using admittedly racist uh, posting to catch, other races. I am the farthest thing from being a racist. I have black in my family, for goodness sakes. It's, it's just ridiculous, totally ridiculous. Okay, but anyway, again, here is where the deception starts, and this is where you have to notice what they did right off the bat on his now republished second version. The first version is gone, so we don't have that to be able to see it. Okay, um, but and I did take some pictures. I'm going to see screenshots, but I'm not sure if it was from the first post. So I'll look in that after this broadcast is over. And if it is the first post, then I will do another one featuring that first post. But I'm pretty sure it's this second post here. But I'll check on that. But in any case, because here you can see some hints to what the first post is. But in either case, the deception. Remember, I told you last broadcast that what deception was. Sept is the point, right? Deception is a diversion away from the point. It's another point away from the point that was presented. That is what a deception is. And so what did he do? Now he changed it from being that he was using something racist to make his point. Now he deceives by stating that he used the racist picture as bait. So that is that is where the deception is. Why did you have to delete? The question is, why did you have to delete the first post? See that? Because if he doesn't delete the first post, he cannot deceive because the first post is still there and people can compare. But now that he removed the first post, and remember that he removed the first post, now he can continue because that's part of the deception. So the original the original point was removed. Now he can recast and reframe it the way he wants to now say or claim, because he didn't claim it before in the other post, that he was race baiting. So now he comes out as an angel, a savior, if you will, trying to catch racists out there. So now he's trying to take over reality that I was the one to point out the racism. So this is the drastic move. Now, this is very crafty. This is not by accident. This is done by someone who knows how to deceive. I don't know if he's a political pundit or consultant or any of what his political experience is. I don't know. So I cannot venture to offer that maybe he's doing this because he was trained to do this, he was taught to do this. I don't know. I can't say. But taught to do it or not, this is a very deceptive practice. Removal of what was before, something that was there before, removing it and now recasting. That is a very clear action of someone who is deceiving, who is deceptive. Okay, so that's what this person did in this back and forth. So again, remember, this is a second post. It's not the original post. Look at what he says here to prove that this is the secondary post. Look at what he says here. Here is some free promotion, laughing out loud. Why would he say that? He's saying that because in the first post, he threatened to go and find out about me, and he started posting some of my links. These things are business programs, courses, workshops, seminars, services that I have either done throughout the years, offered throughout the years, or am presently promoting. And I told them, you're promoting me. First of all, the group rules say that you're not allowed to promote yourself, right? That's the first thing. So, and if you do, it's only one promotion. This guy's just listing link after link after link. And then I tell him, I thank you for the free promotion. This is priceless in Facebook land. You can't get all this great promotion for free on Facebook and have someone actually promoting you for free. Because I've tried. I paid somebody and I couldn't get them to promote me as much as this guy's doing for free. All right. So again, free promotion, because everything he's posting are my offers for my way of making a living. So he's promoting my business, my services. Now, so that's the hilarious part of this whole matter. But he recast it because, let me see, does he say it here? Oh yeah, he'll say it up in the front. Okay, good. Down lower. So we wait for this one. This is the good one. So as he starts trying to, this is also called doxing. I'm sure you've heard of this online. So this doxing is trying to get all the information from a person, and trying to use it against the person, trying to make trouble for that person or make that person feel uncomfortable and I guess intimidated and stuff like that. That's another thing that they use. They intimidate. How do they intimidate? That's another tactic people need to be smart about. Whenever you hear someone say, "Oh, that this people who think this way are idiotic, or you're not stupid to vote for Trump or anything like that. I'm going to use something that all of you should be aware about, so that you can understand. Those statements are part of deceptive practices. They're part of deception because they are taking away from a truth and presenting a different thing, another point that has no bearing on truth at all. There's no evidence at all. In fact, the evidence is exactly in opposition to that idea. But that is the deception. So again, and that's why a lot of Christians that are out there, if you're listening to me, you need to understand that whenever you hear people speak and they malign someone, saying that's stupid, you're not stupid like they are, you are not an idiot like he is, these people are idiots, things like that, labeling people and groups of people, you have to immediately perceive it as deception. These are deceptive practices. The Satan used it in the Garden of Eden. So did God tell you that you shouldn't eat of this tree and you will die when you? Well, the truth is, So again, they're presenting another point. When you eat of this tree, and I said that in the scams and what was it, fraud and con artistry. When you see that video, you should. It's a great teaching in there. The devil used a different point to deceive. And this is a practice that's done for deception. When you're dealing with politics, you should never, never, ever be persuaded or be swayed by deceptive verbiage, which is he's an idiot. They're stupid, and all of this thing, because idiocy and stupidity are provable. These things you don't need, and you shouldn't go by what someone else says about someone else, because the stupidity and idiocy are things that are provable, testable, and you should only admit testing, results of testing, never someone's statement, never, ever. Okay? By doing that, you yourself become what you are accepting and believing that somebody else is, because it's not intelligent to, when there are testable elements to any argument, for you simply to accept a label or a statement made by someone without the test results. Simple. Let's put it to the test. Let's see if there is, we can test it and see if in fact this is true. So what you should expect are the results of testing. I'm not looking at any chats, by the way. So if you're trying to chat, I'm not looking at the chats because I have so much to talk about. Really sit back and listen, and otherwise, I really am not going to respond to any chats today on this show, at least. So if it is something that's testable, you need to insist on results of testing for your reception of comments. If someone is giving you labels, and this has to do with politics, it has to do with religion, with all of it. If someone's giving you labels and does not provide labels for a testable situation or consideration, without any substantive test results, then you have to see it as a deception, which it is. It is most definitely a deception, because if there are test results of a testable thing, then and any labels that someone says in lieu of or in place of test results is deceptive on the face of it. By its very nature, it's a deceptive practice. Okay, so calling somebody deficient mentally without test results that prove it, right, is deceptive. In the case, for example, Donald Trump, everyone, most people, I say everyone because it's just the sheer number of it every day that you see. They say that he's an idiot, yet none of the people who are saying that have developed or built any building that even gets close to the towers that he has all over the place. And how can you live in a world where an idiot can make so many buildings and enjoy a lifestyle that Donald Trump obviously enjoys, and where he's an idiot, and where are you? I mean, you have to ask the question, what happened to me? Or, he's an idiot. I'm not, right? You're not the idiot. He is. So why aren't you having some real estate empire of your own? So it doesn't, these are deceptions. And again, by believing in them, accepting them instead of testing, which we just did, we tested that idea, and we see that people saying that he's an idiot are totally wrong. How can you say that? This, like, the evidence proves that you are wrong, totally wrong. So again, the people who followed that deception, even to repeat it from their mouths or to share a post, and I've seen people do that, and I've seen Christians do that. Outrageous. Totally outrageous. How can a Christian who's supposed to be guided by the Holy Spirit, supposed to have the truth of God, how can you do that? Just totally, that means a child of God, because you have to be right. I'm the one that's wrong, right? But you're right. You're a child of God. You shared deceptive messaging. So the deceit, the deceiving, lying tongue of Satan, you shared it in social media. And if you had any truth in you, you would repent from what you've done and correct yourself in the future. Okay? But I'm only talking to those who are children of God who made a mistake. The truth be told. Those who aren't just aren't. And that's that. So that's the reality. So I'm going to deal with realities here. Okay. So deception is the recasting and refocusing on a different point instead of the truth of the matter. So let's continue now on to the continual development of this recasting project. Okay, so then he says that I'm giving you free promotion. Swindler, I say. He says swindler. So here he goes. He has to say what in his statement, which I'm not even going to call an opinion. An opinion is not what he's providing. He's simply smearing more doo-doo on perfectly good stuff, right? On the truth, he smears it. And this is the classic way that political promoters or political workers on social media, and also religious apologetics, people who do, apologists, often do. They also smear good questions and good answers by invoking Satan. I've seen this done a lot. They say, "Oh, you're a child of Satan." So they want to disparage the comment just said. Apparently, it was so impacting that they can only come back with a label. Okay, so that's the other thing. The other thing you have to look out for, and also it's a clear indication that the person who is responding to a statement or comment or even a question who has received a blow to their understanding, okay, responds by casting shadow and doubt on the commenter on the previous comment or question. So they'll use labels. They'll invoke Satan. Oh, you're a child of Satan. You know, if it's a question, that's how dare you, you child of Satan. You. So that, and this is intended to put fear into the other people in the audience who are readers, to say, oh, we got to reject that question, reject that comment, because this guy is a child of Satan. See that? So again, was that the point of the thread of the comments being said? No. Were we discussing if this person, the commentator, was a child of Satan or not? No, that wasn't the point, was it? So then saying it is a deception. And it's just simple as that. If the comment and the reply to the comment is not on the point, then you have deception at play. And that's what you guys got to understand that. You don't have the mental discipline to look through a thread. Threads or reply, comment, reply, comment, reply. If you cannot track the point, and I'm talking about particularly religious people, you cannot keep the point. You are deceiving. If you're a responder and you keep going to different places, that is deception. You are deceiving. And of course, to you, it's normal. To you, this is a normal act. And what you're not realizing is that it's normal to you for a reason. Because you are deceiving. And you may have been deceived. And you have been trained in the art of deception. And you call that your faith. It's unfortunate, but I've seen it. I've seen people who are not apologists. They are deceivers. That's not apologist. That's not apologetics. That's called deception. Because you go from point to point to point. You evade the points being made, and you're not dealing with the point. You don't like the point. You don't have an answer for the point, for the sept. So then you decept. And that is what you're doing. And a lot of people do that. And in the political world, absolutely. So you have to have the ability and learn to find the sept, the point, and to maintain the point, the thread of the point. Once you see someone go off the point, and I'm talking about the original point, not that, so because they'll come into a point, a conversation, and then they will throw in a different point. That's also deception. That is deception. You cannot now go, but he brought in this other point and you haven't answered that, because within a common thread, you're not supposed to really answer someone who comes in and brings a different point. It goes off. It's not dealing with the question at hand, with the point, especially when it's a comment, not the post, but the comment. You have to stay within that comment. That is the point. Anything that goes all of that comment is deception. So that is something that people have to start realizing. You guys are being deceived easily because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention enough to see what the point is. And then someone comes in with a deceiving skills and takes you away from paying attention to what you're supposed to be paying attention to. That is the deceiver. That is deception. So you have to understand that. You have to see people. They invited me to debate some person, but when I went to look at the person, because I do my homework, I check who is it that I'm supposed to debate, and I can see that this person deceives, brings in a different point, goes off, and this is a spirit of deception. And I can tell you right now that there are whole religions based on deception. That's their faith, and they're not understanding it. They believed in a deception, and everything they're doing is deception, but they call it their faith. So there you have it. But you can tell. The good thing about all this, listen, the good thing about all of this is that you can tell, you can see it. Jesus said, by their fruits you shall know them. So one of the fruits is that they change. They bring in this other point, and without dealing and finalizing the point at hand, deception. They take something that's true, that's pure, and then they label it something else. That's the deception. And those are deceivers. So you have to catch that right away. So here again, in this instance, this person posts a link to one of my expert platforms. Now, the platform doesn't belong to me, by the way. I said one of mine. It's where I'm at. I'm on this platform. I've been on there for years. Oh my, for years. Now, on this platform, by the way, you have to prove that you are an expert in whatever you are in. So the fact that I'm here on that shows a lot. It proves a lot. It proves that I am an expert. Okay. So again, what does this person says? He goes against all the good work that these people do on their platform to check everyone, to verify that they're who they are, and that they know what they're talking about, what they're able to give advice on. And he just says, oh, you're a swindler. This is a very highly respected platform for giving advice. There's many experts here, very good, fine men and women, professionals, learned people who are giving advice in different fields of science and industry. And this guy calls it swindling. See? So again, it's not about this guy. Remember, it's not the person, it's the method. The method of deceiving and doing what he's doing. And we already know why he's doing it. All of this is being done. Is this the point of the racist picture? No. He has deceived, and now he has turned this post into um, trying to malign me and character assassination and all of that. That's all his purpose was for this second posting, right? And then I say, good try, but your post is now immortalized. Now, this may indicate to me, because this was a few days ago. How many days? These are 5 days ago, right? We had Christmas and all that, so I wasn't going to do that throughout the Christmas time period. But 5 days ago, and at this point, I said your post is now immortalized. That may indicate that the immortalization means I have the screenshot. So it may be that I have the original post. It may be, hopefully, I have it, but that would be an indication that I have the original post, and it could just be that I have just these. So just this one. So, and then the response to that is laughing out loud, a true scam artist laughing out loud. Again, we talked about what a scam is and what scam artists are. So again, who is really the scam artist here? See, he's accusing me of something that has not been proven. There's nothing here that is any scam. This is a professional third-party platform. There's nothing that he's shown that is scammy at all. Then he goes into my Arithmetic University, which is a school that the church that I pastor started through my instinct, obviously. And we're developing that according to the laws. I was in New York State, so according to the laws of New York State, we had started this. Now I'm in Florida, and we're slowly trying to develop this university into, to have a campus, because of course we need to have a campus. Those, again, people who understand the requirements for starting and universities. It starts with college, a few degrees, etc., etc. Grows into a full-fledged university. So again, these things require certain things. The certification, the accreditation requires certain conditions. I know them well. I studied this whole issue. I've been doing this for years, since New York City, and I did everything in New York City, all the laws, and studied and positioned this school. Part of it started in the church. Is still under the church's auspices. Again, that means a lot to people who know. It's still under the church's auspices, and so nothing what this person is saying, even in the website, it says it's a ministry of the Sheepfold Pentecostal Church Incorporated. So again, people just don't understand. They don't know what they're talking about. They didn't do the research that I did. You don't have any understanding or knowledge. Same thing about accreditation. Accreditation is something that is particular, and it's not something, especially for our school, because my core technology is actually unique. It's my own teachings which form the core technology of this institution. And I'm into new areas. So my areas that I'm into, and which the university is centralized on, is not something that's peer reviewable at this point, because it is new. It's new stuff. So it takes more time to get this the regional accreditation, and I might not even go after the regional accreditation after all, but I can get the other types of accreditation, and we're in the process of doing that. But I won't be continuing in that vein until we have secured the lands, we started building the buildings or securing a building, and then to start out uh, our um, our university with campus, and then going to the accreditation type of thing. We can also do the renting some office spaces and do that way, as I've seen, and others do, and has been recommended also that I do as an option. But again, I'm not going to get into the details of how to start a university, how to build it out, how to get the accreditation, because that's a lot of stuff. I already did all the research. I'm doing everything the right way. And just we have a lot of deceit and deception going on because other people just don't realize the details, the qualification, and also the fact that an organization, any business can start a university. It is permitted. You're just not offering to the general public and things like that, basically. And so any organization can have a university. I mean, the phone company has a university, and most of I think Disney has a university. It's ridiculous, it's not public universities, but they're this way they do their training and their continuing ed for their employees. That's allowed. It's allowed. It's just people are just so. I don't want to label them, but it's obviously if they don't know what they're talking about. And then if you all don't know, everyone don't know, but you're allowing for the deception, because it doesn't matter if you don't know these things, you see. But you shouldn't allow yourself to be influenced by the deceiver, by the deception. And that's where knowledge is what is best, always best. And then it says here, experts, he says, experts are not employees or representatives of Presto experts. And he says, laughing out loud. I don't know where he gets that quote from. It doesn't matter. Presto experts, by the way, they go through a rigorous, if you get on Presto expert or you try to apply, and most advice type of platforms, you have to go through a process of qualification, some more than others. Presto does have a vigorous qualification process. So that's their business. That has nothing to do with me. But I can tell you he's not on there. See? So again, I've done my things. I've qualified for my things. He has nothing, no thing, because he's not presenting anything. All he's doing is smearing. He's in a smear campaign of the things that I've accomplished and I've done, and that's all that's all this is. Now, it looks like I applaud. I would applaud. I have a applaud, and at the same time, I don't applaud everyone else in this group, because I know they looked at this. No one, I don't know if this guy is an administrator or a moderator or something like that, or he's well liked or not. I don't know, because again, I don't sit on these groups all day and every day of the week or anything like that. But I applaud that no one else except for one fellow came into the fray to join in on the Gilberto Rosado bashing. Okay. But I'm also not, I don't like as well that no one else came into, to say, why are you guys doing this? There's nothing wrong with what you posted. There's nothing wrong with what he had here and what he's doing, and the reason that you don't have people because doing this is because obviously, and this is the sad statement, is that most people don't know either. So what we have here is a massive lack of knowledge with people. And I hinted at this in the previous scam, fraud, and con artistry video. I mentioned this sad fact. And this is what has this country in a very, very dangerous state and position politically, constitutionally. We have, even at the times of Thomas Jefferson, you had a lot of ignorance. Of course, there was illiteracy abound. I mean, we have more of it today, but I think more of the peoples are easily deceived. They lack a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge. And so you're easily deceived and easily sharing deceptive things. Okay? So now let's go back and go on to the other points that we see here. Then he says, searching for your prison record. Internet is slow today. So again, his intent is to intimidate and obviously to dox me, to bring all my dirty underwear out so that people can see it, my skeletons in the closet so that people, so that I will be, I guess, destroyed within this group. I mean, like, is that so important? This group is such a what is it, a standard of news and of information that I have to be worried about my dirty underwear or the skeletons in my closet to be exposed here to all of these, which they never came in to mention any or say anything in my defense or even against me. I mean, most of this stuff is, most of the people here are not even aware that this back and forth even happened on the group that they're members of. I'm sure that 80%, if not more, 90% are even not aware of this post at all. So he went looking for my prison record. Now, this is the only other guy who came in, and he says he has these real estate deals which seem, at least he says they seem, because that's just a perception, seem like pyramid schemes. I don't have any real estate, anything that's a pyramid at all. So obviously, again, is someone else coming in, looking at something and adding to it a negative thing that he or she is imagining, or wants to do it just to be malicious. This is simple. Remember what the intent here is, to be malicious. This second guy was part of the first post as well. I mean, he's not new because of the second post. He's the first guy said, what happened to, did he delete his post? Because he was there ready to play tag teaming. These are two guys that came after me tag teaming. And so he would say, what happened to the first post? Did he delete? Like, if I had control of these posts? No, he's the poster is the one who deceived and eliminated the first post, and to reinsert the racist meme, and to then focus on me, because that's the deception. There's the clear deception of this whole matter. And then they start mentioning my church. He gets people in the church and then sells them these get-rich schemes, right? And then he uses an explorative saying that I'm a crook. Again, people's imagination run wild. That there can be nothing further from the truth, more further from the truth than what he just said. This is totally not what ever has occurred in my church ministry. We don't do that. There's no reason for it. What's the point? I mean, okay, but again, since the point is to malign and to talk bad about me, for some reason I'm so important all of a sudden. Remember, this is all about because the post was racist. This is the result. Look how I made this guy, I said. Look how I made this guy prove he has nothing to do. laughing out loud. Keep digging, I said. There's so much to discover, really. And there is. There's a whole lot of stuff about me that he can discover if he digs deep enough. A lot of things. And I'm telling him, go get it. Come on. Okay? Now, remember what I told you in the beginning. Remember I told you in the beginning. Then he calls another pile of doo-doo, I say, again. And this other guy says, yeah, like you're fake and should be in jail, right? I should be in jail, right? Because you would expect that someone who does things illegally should be in jail, right? Who are the ones that don't go to jail? Is it possible that there's actually innocent, true people that don't go to jail? Is that possibility? I wonder in his world. Would love to visit this crook's church and see the idiots. And here we go, the idiot. Remember we talked about the idiots? Here we go. Now we know where this guy lies in the political bet. On which side? That listened to him. Yes, he's a crook, the other one says. And then I reply, libel makes you both crooks. Which is a great reply. Actually, the only ones who are committing here, who are doing fraud or deceiving, are they. They're the ones libeling me, defaming me. Okay. So then he comes back with this thing from the Sentinel that you can grab online, whatever. Like if this was really just dumb. He did this really quick as a reply, and then I also laughed with he's responding to this laugh someplace here. Look how I made this guy prove he has nothing to do. Again, why did I laugh here? He's wondering, why did he laugh at his own comment? And the reason that I put the laugh gif there is because who said that the laugh was intended as a laugh at the comment? Who said it was limited to laughing at the comment? Because I know that's what most people use it for. Most people, like them, use the laugh GIF to have laughter at the comment that was said. That's the way most people use it. I don't use it. I am sufficiently able to use the laugh for effect, and that's what I did. I used the laugh because I am laughing at them. That's what the laugh means. Okay. They are not understanding it, of course, because their ability to comprehend reality is at fault here. They don't understand, and so they don't get it. Okay. Now, those who get it, kudos to you guys, because you guys have a brain. But everyone else, they just don't understand. Why would he laugh at his own comment? Why would I? Okay. Yeah, so he says, how strange. So let's go back into this. And so he says, yeah, you laugh at your own post. How strange. These are comments, by the way. They're not posts. So again, but this is the level that we're dealing with. He puts in my LinkedIn page. Like, what is there something supposedly wrong with that? They talk about one of the services that I provide is for people who are involved. Not that I'm involved. I'm not involved in any multi-level marketing at all. But there are people who do that. There are people who are engaged in multi-level marketing. And multi-level marketing is not scammy. There have been a lot of scams involving multi-level marketing. But the fact is that multi-level marketing is not scamming. The only ones that are pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes. If it wasn't so, then we would just have the designation multi-level marketing. It's wrong. It's illegal. It's not. I mean, we have big companies, well-respected companies that are multi-level marketing companies. One of them, and I used to be part of them, was Amway, or is Amway still. And that's where, and the, I forget what position, she head of the educational department. Trump put her as the, I think, the educational cabinet member, DeVos, Miss DeVos. DeVos, her family, her father, I think. Her father is one of the founders of Amway. So these are people that are very well respected business people. In Michigan, the divorce um, family and the business Amway is very well respected, and it is a great company, and it uses multi-level marketing. It's just another form of marketing. They have been around for years, years, years. Okay, so the idea, that notion that multi-level marketing is scammy is wrong. There have been many companies that use the multi-level marketing system, but they scam. So that's the thing. Amway uses the multi-level marketing system, but it doesn't scam. There are many companies, since they don't understand the multi-level marketing system, they use it to hide and deceive their scam within it, and they use the multi-level marketing like to cover it. Okay, same thing goes through with alternate cryptocurrencies. A lot of ICOs, they are by their intent, they're scamming by intent. But of course, if you don't have knowledge, and most of you don't, that's why the government, U.S. government, does not allow most of those ICOs to be sold here in the United States, is to protect you, the consumer, from intentful ICOs that are scamming. They're intended to be scams, and they're scams from their inception. But there's no way, obviously, for any of us to know that beforehand. So again, that's why you have those restrictions. Again, but the point here is that, first of all, that MLM and multi-level is not scamming. So I'm able to provide certain services because I'm in marketing to people who are doing Amway, they're doing Shackley, they're doing, there's so many new companies out there, and you have your Avon and your Mary Kay and all that. I have programs and things that help them do their business and to help them grow in their businesses. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm doing a business. I'm conducting straight business and good business, but to them, I am doing multi-level network, and that's a scam. So they're within this group of people who therefore are ignorant. I don't mean that in a negative way. Is that? I don't mean that, to be facetious, but I mean it to say that they don't know what they're saying. They don't know. They don't know me. They don't know what I'm doing. And number three, they don't know that multi-level marketing is a a decent and an okay multi-level marketing method, except that there are many people who use it to be scammy. So that's true, but it doesn't mean that every multi-level marketing uh, is illegal. And there's companies operating here in the United States as multi-level marketing operations. Now, the thing is that you have to know. I had a friend who was coming to me, he told me this is a great program, this and that. And I said, I'll go over to it for just to give you advice. because these people don't have a lot of money. Then they're going to put all the money they can get and putting into something. And I wanted to make sure that you're not throwing your money away. So I went in and heard it, and these people are sincere. The presenters were sincere. They were sincere people who were doing this business. But I pointed out to my host that this business is going to have problems here in the United States eventually, and it's because of the way he's getting people into his business. That method that they're using, that is not allowed. That is actually a that's a pyramid, and the way he's doing it is scamming. So that will not fly in this country, and sooner or later, all of that's going to shut down. And I believe that I was absolutely correct in my statement to him. And I believe that company was stopped from operating here in the United States. Okay, so and listen, I can see, because again, I'm not deceived. I know what deceptions are, and I can see a deception when I see it. Okay, you have to know what it is. You have to know and have understanding in business, marketing, and the laws, business laws here in the United States. If you're here in the United States, you need to know it in order to understand when something is being deceptive or not. Okay, then here's the statement that comes after this, and he says, I don't think he likes us very much. This is a prideful statement, and he's assuming, and this discloses what the purpose is. They always, sooner or later, and sooner or later, they disclose basically what their program was. And in this case, it was clearly his program, their design was to what they call troll me, was to get me upset. Oh, he's calling me this, he's calling me that, he's calling me this and that, and saying that my things are trash and scammy and all of that. Well, you can see what the result was, and you can now see what the truth is. If anyone was playing someone else, was me actually. Again, I return you to the beginning of this video, and what I presented to you is actually what I was intending to do once, because I'm always looking for material to use for my Viral Political Mondays for teaching purposes. I do the same thing for in the religious aspect. I set out certain questions. Sometimes I try out different types of responses, serious ones, sometimes they're funny ones, or sarcastic, or sometimes they're probatory, just to see what the sentiments are, what are the ideas behind the comments, behind the statement. And there's so much to learn out here, folks. There's really a lot of things that you can learn by doing stuff like that, and by studying, you know, studying people's and their reaction, etc., etc. So again, the person says here that I don't think he likes us very much. He's patting himself on the back, and shining up his medals, because they consider this a win, and actually was a great loss to them. It was a bigger win for me. I get all of my links, not all, because again, they tired out of looking for dirt and they couldn't find anything. Remember the prison records that he was saying he was going to get next? We're still waiting. Yeah, I would love to see some. The only time I've stepped into prison, I've stepped into prison a few times to preach the gospel. This is the person these guys are attacking. I've gone to prison. I've gone to visit those prisoners in there and bring them the good news of the gospel. I've been to Rikers Island to bring them the message of Jesus Christ and salvation. I've been to up in New York State, Napanock, I think it is, State Penitentiary, and I've been behind the walls. I've seen the way they live, and I brought them the gospel message and sat with the prisoners there. I've been to Ecuador. That was something. I've been to a prison in Ecuador. Oh my goodness. That's something I think everyone should do that just to have that experience. You to compare because if you've seen a prison up here in the United States and then you go to a prison in South America, especially in Ecuador, not the Ecuador is like the worst, I'm sure there's worse around the world, but literally it is a human garbage can. It's the saddest thing you ever want to see. And when you walk down these halls that haven't seen paint since Columbus left, okay, you get the idea? You go through these halls, and all you see are white eyeballs with an occasional red eyeball and other. But mostly white eyeballs staring at you behind these big hall gates because they're not the cells, they're the halls, the sections where the cells are at inside. But they have that gate, so they let the prisoners out into that area, and they're behind the main cell doors, before the main hallway in the prison. So I don't know if I made that picture for you clear in your head, but in any case, you're walking down this dark hallways and you see there's just enough light just so that you can see that there's white eyeballs peering at you in the dark. Their faces, all you see is the white eyeballs because they're filthy, they're dirty as can be. And their faces are basically full of mud, full of dirt. No bathing going on here, and it's just the clothes are tattered and torn. It's just really the worst that you can imagine. And so yes, I've been in prison, but not as an inmate. I've been a visitor to bring the good news of Jesus Christ. That's the only prison record you're going to find on me. And I thank God, not that I'm a goody two shoes. I don't take credit for any of that. I thank my God, my Lord, amen, my faith in Jesus Christ that has allowed me to walk a path that I have not been subject to being behind the bars, except for visiting those who are and comforting them with the hope in Jesus Christ. And so that is it. So again, this is the person that these fellows are attacking. Now you see how they made everything look so horrible about me. They've talked about everything and the university and my programs. I'm even here listed as a WEN Hub expert as well, interface expert. I'm an expert on those. And this guy says here, I'll show you that. Look at his comments. He says this effing guy is an expert on everything. Then he says that all of these places are made up so he can get credentials. He's even maligning these other third party platforms, respectable platforms with integrity, and they're willing to trash them in order to trash me. That that is the desperation that these people who want to deceive and character assassinate someone will go through. So here, I think I've shown enough evidence and proof. Even this person, after you got my YouTube videos, meetups that I have, old stuff that I used to put up on Daily Motion, there's actually a very funny video that I put up there reviewing some names of domain names that were being sold on Flipper. It's hilarious, this one. So if anyone can go see that link, Daily Motions, take a look at the Reverend Dr. Rigoberto Rosado, dailymotion.com. Look for that video. It's hilarious. It's funny. I think it's one of the most funniest videos I've ever done. But again, what's the whole point of this is that everything he points out here is innocuous. There's nothing wrong with any of it. And even so, now it's wrong and a sin to be an expert in everything, as he puts. Of course, another ignorant statement. I'm not an expert in everything. I do know how to do a lot of things. That is true. I have, thank God, again, if people don't understand, this is not for my glory. I asked God to teach me when I was 8 years old. I asked God to take away from my mind man's teachings, and fill my mind with his wisdom. That's what I asked God when I was 8 years old. Now that I'm 56, now I'm an expert on everything. Praise God. Thank the Lord. Amen. Praise the Lord. You did it. You did it. He was faithful. Amen. God is faithful. Amen. Praise God. I cannot find any more glory, anything more glorious to God than this issue right here. Praise to God. And these guys are attacking me, trying to destroy my reputation and character. And yet I'm praising God, and God be praised. Amen. You know what? Because these guys don't understand. It doesn't matter what happens to me, folks, because it's not about me. It never was. So you can take me and pellet me with your stones. You can throw all your bricks against my body and destroy it in a flame. You can break me up into pieces. It doesn't matter, because God will be praised. Amen. Let God be praised overall. Amen. Praise God. And that has been my motto from the beginning. You can tell me all sorts of things. You can try to intimidate me with whatever you want to throw at me, etc., etc. It just doesn't matter. It's not about me. So again, when the deceivers go to attack the messenger, in this case my person, that's just a lost cause. Right when they do it, because it shows they already lost the argument. And now they went up barking up on the wrong tree, because there's nothing here, and it doesn't matter. Nothing they say, nothing they do, nothing that happens to me really actually matters at all. The people I've helped, I've already helped them. You can't do anything. The people I saved from suicide, they're still alive. There's nothing you can do about it. The people's marriages that I've helped save, they're still together, unless one of them died, which one of them did. But there's nothing you can do about it. So you know what? All the good that has been done through this vessel, there's nothing that you can do about it. So it's just a waste of time. And the fact is that my teachings, my books, my writings, and whatever videos survive the mayhem will be here, whatever God permits, long after I'm dead and gone. And there's nothing that you can do about it. Praise be the Lord. Amen. Praise God. So that's it. I didn't want to get religious on you guys at the end there, but I mean, it's all what I do. It's above my head all the time. The logo of our church. It's really everything I'm doing is really for the church. Um, at the end of the day, and in some way, shape, or fashion, it's helping the gospel of Christ to move on and to progress and to defeat every false thing and high imagination that cometh against the knowledge of God. Amen. Praise God. So that's it. So we've seen how the deceivers divert from the point, even to the issue of eliminating a prior post to hide the truth, hide the fact of what was disclosed previously. Because otherwise, why would there be a need? He needed to recast it, to reshape it so that it creates the narrative that he wanted, and to focus, to deceive, and now focus on my person. Where it blew up in his face was that there's nothing here. And so he still, without finding any prison record, he's still looking for something negative and he can't find it. Everything he finds is that I'm an expert in everything. And even in these things too, right? I think that'll really bother them more. So the one last thing I'll leave you with is I went into his profile because he says that I'm a fake, that I'm a scam artist, right? That I'm doing wrong, fake stuff, and I'm fake here, fake there. But then when I go into his profile, what do we find? Nothing. Even the day, and I have the pictures of the screenshot of the back and forth, and you will see, and I'm going to make a quick look, see if I can find, if I can grab that up right now. But you'll see that there is no picture. He had no profile picture of himself when we first, and that first and second uh, back and forth. I'm going to look at this and see, right. So here, you're not going to be able to see it clearly, but you will see the difference. Let's look at the screenshot that I took. Now, I'm sorry. Let's see. Can I make this increase this? Okay. All right. There we go. Since it's a picture, and I'm gonna try to get it back to. Let's see if I can get this. Let me see if I can position this a little better. So you can see, if you can see, there he has a Christmas cover photo here. So at the time that he did these postings, he did not have his face. If you see, I have my face, I have my real name. This is not a fake name. This is my real name. I am who I am. But we don't know actually if this guy is actually who he claims to be. But also, he didn't have his picture here. Now, when we look at his postings today, though, we can see that now his picture is on. Now again, this has nothing to do with this person, just the practice. So what it looks like, and I'm gonna see, because I'm transparent. I'm going to tell you the truth of the possibility that it could be. It could be that he always had his profile picture before Christmas, and that for Christmas, as it would assume, he changed it just to have that Christmas type of thing on it, and then he put his photo on. The funny thing, though, is that in his profile, there is nothing personal in his profile at all. There's just things that he shares from people, other people. There's no personal nothing. And when you look at, and even if he changed his profile picture, you usually have that post that says the profile picture was changed. You don't see it. You don't see that notification. So it appears that it looks like he changed it, and then he removes the notification that he changed it. His profile shows nothing of his personal anything. So when you look at mine, or at least the original one, more than this one now, but I don't hide anything. Everything is there, But when I'm admittedly, after Facebook did what they did to me, I'm not bothering to put anything of matter there, except that the activities that I do is there. You see what I'm doing, you see what I'm about. But with him, you don't see anything that he's doing. You don't see nothing that he's about. And I I asked in the previous post about who he voted for in 2016. And because something he said, because of the way he's anti-Trumping now, I was just wanted to confirm that he is actually an anti-Trumper, and that he didn't vote, and because he said he was a Republican. That's the thing. This guy said he was Republican, but he's obviously anti-Trump. So I questioned that, and then he says, "Well, I wrote in my candidate," so he didn't want to say who he voted for. And then looking through his profile, which I did do, you find nothing. You didn't find anything supporting any other candidate, and nothing. Absolutely, there's nothing there. So obviously, it looks like a person that obviously is hiding things. That's all. What does it mean? I don't know. But if you're hiding stuff, how can you accuse someone else? How can you go and start pointing the finger when you are not even putting anything of your own true self on the Facebook media? When I do, I obviously am, and you're pointing out, you're bringing stuff out. You understand? Because I have nothing to hide. I could care less. There's nothing that I have to hide. I'm not fearing any what? What do I have to fear? You see? Because even this type of treatment, I don't fear it. Like I said, I don't fear it at all because I know how to handle this. Everything I've done is done with the knowledge. Hey, somebody can be watching me on the camera, you know? But because I live with somebody watching me without a camera 24/7. So I don't have anything to hide. And so, again, uh, these are the guys and people pointing at moi with an accusatory finger. It's a shame. It's sad, really. But anyway, throughout this, though, I hope that we've been able to look at and take a deeper look at how people take a person, and a person like myself that has nothing to hide, no skeletons in the closet. I've been just doing what I, as an American, that I can do, and yeah, everything that I can, I've been trying to do it. And I've been looking, if you look at my other broadcasts 2 days ago or so, I always do research. I'm looking at the laws, the statutes, federal law. I'm looking at state laws, etc., because a lot of things I do are impacted by one law or another, and I have to check that what we're doing is legit, because that's me. All right, but for people to come and start pointing the finger, and you guys are hiding behind curtains. This is what we have here. And you can see how they take a person like myself and try to character assassinate and defame me and whatnot like this. Now, some of you may ask the question, well, why don't you sue them? And the answer to this is the following. He put up this, which it doesn't matter what lawyer you put up. It doesn't matter. That's not even the point. See, because they don't even understand the point. He's thinking that if I sue him, he's going to have this lawyer defend him. He thinks that I'm stupid like that? That's stupidity. I'm not stupid. The whole point in suing someone for libel is to recover some damages. So I'm not understanding. So there's no point in suing this fellow, these two fellows. There's not. And with that, I said a lot. So that's it. No, if it was somebody that had something substantial and they were going out and making defaming me, then that would be a different matter. Okay, but this is nothing. This is just silliness. So again, these are the things. When you have knowledge and you're an expert in all things, you know, you can see where the deceptions are at, and you can tell what's happening. People, listen, be careful with your interactions online. Yeah, if you want to hide yourself, then that's up to you. That's fine. You can't be pointing fingers if you're hiding. Okay? But in any case, but understand that there's people out there that they're hiding for reasons. And then they so happen to be politically vociferous. You have to be careful. Who is this person that has such great opinions of this and of that? And you see that they have nothing? You have to be careful and always spot for the deception. Right? Okay, so that's the thing. Always spot the deceiver. And that's what you need to be careful of. So I hope that in this broadcast, it's been extensive. I've been on for what? For almost 2 hours. Pretty, huh? You can see when you're dealing with subject matters, they can get into some time. And a lot of people don't spend enough time in learning the right things. And I hope that some of you have spent time to learn about this today. Spend time and learn about scams and frauds and con artistry in a previous video to this one, and educate yourself, because really the biggest problem we have in society today, including politics, is lack of knowledge. And this affects religions too, because the more and more people lack knowledge, the more and more false religions are growing. And if you'll notice that there are more and more false religions growing these days, starting up, more and more ideas, and revisiting stuff that has already been debated and decided 2,000 years ago. And they're bringing up, oh, this wasn't allowed in the Bible. I wonder why. And all this. And again, coinciding with stupidity, with a rise in stupidity, it's suspect, baby. This is just simply suspect. But people don't understand. They don't get it. They're not seeing things in the great perspective of things. And they're easily deceived. So don't let yourself be deceived, especially if you're a child of God. You shouldn't be involved with deceptions or with deceivers. You have to be able to spot that. And I hopefully in this video, you were able to learn how deception is had very easily. It's very easy, but you have to first not be a deceiver yourself. You have to first know that you are not practiced or familiarized, desensitized to deception, so that you can say, whoa, well, this guy just went off. Deception. Close the shop. And that's what you guys need to learn. Okay, so hopefully this helps you to progress in life, to stay out of trouble, but to protect your mind from the deceiver, because he's out there. He's deceiving a whole many generations, and he's just getting started. Take care, and God be with each and every one of you.